Y'all was worried about it.
In the days of old, 5 elements were known: MCing, DJing, graffiti had grown, B-boy and knowledge, the pillars of the game, but a 6th emerged, adding to the flame. Comics and hip-hop, a fusion so tight, visual storytelling, lyrics that ignite, from the pages to the beats, a seamless blend. The 6th element, where 2 worlds transcend.
Welcome to the 6th Element Show, where comics and hip-hop flow. Reno and Stu guiding the way, bringing you the culture every day. Welcome to the 6th Element Show, where comics and hip-hop flow. Reno and Stu.
What's good, y'all? 6th Element Hip Hop. Well, 6th Element Collectibles, I should say. Welcome to the show. We got a great one tonight. We got all kinds of goodies, man. It's going to be a live show. It's going to be a big show. We got so much to go over, and so much good, interesting things have happened. We got unboxings to go over. We got new figures to look at, man. Before we get into it, just a quick rundown of what we're going to talk about right quick. You know what I'm saying? Just so y'all get the recipe, the menu. So Star Wars Celebration just happened. So we're going to talk about the panels. We're going to talk about everything we liked, everything we hated, what we learned, and all that good stuff. We got Darth Maul Shadow Lord series, Ahsoka season 2, Baylan Skoll recasted, Hayden Christensen coming back, Andor 2's happening, Mando and Grogu's going down, and then we're gonna roll into some Fantastic Four stuff because we got to discuss that female Silver Surfer, and we're gonna dive deep and talk about the pros, the cons, why it's actually not that bad of a thing, and just let me cook. Just stick with me. And then we're gonna talk about Blade and what actually happened with the Blade movie. Talk a little bit about maybe the Iron Fist guy coming back for some Iron Fist stuff. Maybe Miles Morales is actually getting his own standalone movie in the MCU Avengers, little phase there. We've got the Batman 2 cancellation rumors addressed, everything we know, the good and the bad. And yeah, pretty much that's it. I mean, there's some more. If we can get into some more, I got some great information, some nice stuff about the DCU going on and Superman and all that if we get to it. But we're going to start with Celebration, Star Wars Celebration, and get into that. Before we do, I believe that Stu Dog has received a gift from the gods, and we're going to unbox that bad boy real quick.
Bam!
Bam!
Marrow.
Marrow.
Now, I always liked Marrow. Marrow is a part of the Morlocks, and her mutant power is the ability to manipulate bone growth. That's what she can do.
She was big in the game, right? Video game.
And she was big. Yeah, she was big in Marvel versus Capcom 2. They put her in there, and
I didn't know her. I don't know her from anywhere else.
That the only thing, like I said, I know she's part of the Morlocks, but
Yeah.
and I know she's the bone. So on the game, she'll take the bones out, these things right here, and that's like her swords. Those are nice, and then she can throw them, and then she'll throw these at you in the back. I mean, listen, it's a dope character, man. Listen, I used to play with her all the time on there, but when they bought her out as a collectible, I was like, yo, I gotta get this. So. This is like surreal for me, man, because she was such a dope character. If you ever played Marvel,
no, this is a great example too, because here's a character this is a figure I completely passed on because I had no knowledge of the character, no interest in the character, didn't know anything about the character, and so it didn't do anything for me to get it, and I passed on it. And damn, she's wow. They got her stacked in the back, but listen, she got. But I passed on it. I don't know shit about it, but
she looks in the game.
I regret passing on it.
Yeah,
I regret passing.
And this is how she looks in the game. Yeah, this is exactly how she looks in the game.
Really good looking figure. I thought I really misjudged it, misread it completely. Really thought it was just gonna be a crap. I was like, why did they? I thought it was just the worst thing ever. I hated. I was cursing that figure, man, and now I totally regret passing on it. Cause no, straight up. Cause I never really. I don't know. I don't know about Marrow, dude. I don't know about this character. It doesn't do. I collect the stuff that gives me a nostalgia bump, right? It has to hit me in the nostalgia bone. If it doesn't, why am I fucking with it? Like for me, that's just me I have, you know, I want my shelf to be like iconic, you know, look like stuff that I recognize iconically from my childhood. But there's so many cool figures out there. You can't just get everything that looks cool. So you have to draw a line. And I draw the line. It's got to be something that I had as a kid.
Right. And like I said, playing her on the game was like it was like one of the best things, man. Like she like and she comes with on the game, she's got these 2 bones that are her
I
knives that
remember her now from the
she
game, but
puts
I did
down.
not remember where she was from.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Now I'll be honest, I'm in the comics, I never read her or had her in any or seen her in any comics. I knew she was a Morlock. Because playing the game, I had to look it up. I was like, who is this Marrow joke? She's on the Marvel side, so I looked it up, and that's how I knew, knew a little bit about her. But I used to play with her on the game, so I used to put her, Cyclops, and Cable together all the time, or her, Cable, and Wolverine, and it was devastating. I can get almost 100 hit combo with all 3 of them.
Dope, nice.
Yeah. Yeah. Now the Build-A-Figure pieces, I would love to build the Nemesis, but you gotta get all, and I don't want all of them. But I don't know. I might have to do something. See if I can find the pieces online or something. Nemesis. You should have. I think didn't you get all of them, Reno, or no?
No, I didn't get. I didn't get Marrow, and I didn't get the other female that they had on there.
I don't even know who the other female is. Is the arm?
I don't know the other female. I didn't recognize who Marrow was. And that Build-A-Figure, I don't care about the Build-A-Figure, and that's the thing. Like I got all but 2 of them. I could if I cared about that Build-A-Figure, I would have grabbed the other 2.
Right. And some people do. Some people want to Build-A-Figure. I wish they wouldn't really. I mean, I wish they would give us like a. How can I put it? I don't know, like a way to just buy the parts and build the figure if we want, but they don't. They make you buy, all the characters. So.
Well, that's the whole deal. That's the whole point. That's how they.
Yeah.
That's how they get you.
Yeah, and they get you. I will say they get you, but it's a dope figure. The articulation is good, and like Reno says, you look closely, no pinholes in the joints. And this time around, Marvel's making a really, really, really good figure, man. Look at this. Man.
No, they've stepped it up dramatically, man. And speaking of them stepping it up, we just picked up this guy today, the new Maximum Spidey. And he definitely articulates. I mean, he definitely can do some wild new tricks.
Spidey.
Some
Spider-Man stuff.
He can do all this here, yeah. And, all that web swinging, magic, crazy stunts, but yeah, he's it is actually a different plastic than the other Legends. A little bit of a, I don't know, it's like a softer plastic in a way than it feels like the other Legends. Got a really cool head sculpt with a nice big eye. Finally, I want the more OG. I wish it had a more of a brighter blue, but that's just because I'm on this kick now of like a Silver Age kick. But it's cool. It comes with the first time ever we got Spidey sense. So that's,
I like that.
That's new. Norin Rad, salute. We're gonna get it. Norin Rad, stay tuned, man. We're gonna talk about Norin Rad today. We're gonna talk about Shalabal and really get into the nitty gritty and really talk about it for real with no vitriol. But yeah, it's a lot going on at Star Wars Celebration. We have learned all there is to know without actually having to go. And you guys, I know, probably aren't at Star Wars Celebration. You're probably here just chilling with us. So we're going to break it down for you and let you know what you're missing. It's been 20 years since the creation of Lucasfilm Animation. And I want to talk about the first item on deck is the Darth Maul Shadow Lord animated series. Yes. And it's dope. And in the last 20 years of Lucasfilm animation, the Star Wars franchise has had a lot of changes, and so it's like gotten really better, and it looks much nicer, and you know, the graphics got better from, if you look at Bad Batch to like the first Clone Wars, big difference in animation.
Big difference,
yeah,
significant,
yeah. And so from the prequel trilogy being expanded with the Clone Wars series, and then you know, introducing Ahsoka to us, that character there that we're going to talk heavily about today, the Star Wars Rebels show giving us Thrawn, who we're also going to talk about today, and to celebrate, Lucasfilm Animation Vice President Athena Portillo and Creative Officer CCO at Lucasfilm Dave Filoni, who is now the CCO, took stage at the Star Wars Celebration 2025 to look back at the history of the studio and provide glimpses at their next two shows. And one of them came in a surprise reveal that shocked fans. They did a full trailer for a brand new animated spin-off series titled Darth Maul. No, it's called, sorry, I fucked it up, didn't I? It's entitled Star Wars Maul Shadow Lord. Dave Filoni introduced the trailer, exclusive to attendees. And so, you know, we have to wait and all of that, but I'm gonna show you the graphic and everything like that. But yeah, they the Shadow Lord trailer was shown in, it's a Japan celebration, Star Wars celebration in Japan, sorry. And so that was shown in Japan for Japan viewers, but it's set hang on, I'm getting ahead of myself, guys. Sorry. I'm trying to get this image for you guys to see at the same time. Yes. It's got this underworld vibe. This is like kind of like what George Lucas was intending, you know, for maybe his sequel trilogy, but it begins with a bank robbery on a bustling city plane, like Coruscant type plane, city. And you got officers worried about some new big player in the criminal underworld, and this new group has Mandalorians working for them. Had rivals terrified at the sight of his 6 cyborg legs, and he's got his lightsaber, and of course it's Darth Maul. When you see him appear, they kind of go up from and you see his lightsaber, and there he is. And so the last time we saw Maul was in the Siege of Mandalore arc of the Clone Wars, and he obviously has a long way to go from nearly escaping an Imperial prison to becoming a crazed Obi-Wan obsessed old man from the Star Wars Rebels that we end up seeing. And so what we know so far about this series is that you know, based on the trailer that was shown in Japan, is that it's set shortly after the end of the Clone Wars. So Maul's angry that a lot of people have profited from his misfortunes, right? That's what he says. And so he's vowing to make them all pay in due time. And the animated spin-off show seems to be about Maul building the Crimson Dawn crime syndicate, which is very exciting, which also includes Kyra, I think. It was played by Emily Clark, right? Played by my wife, Emily Clark, in Solo, A Star Wars Story. Shout out to my wife, Emily Clark. Amelia Clark. Sorry, I don't know my wife's name. Amelia Clark. However, Maul is now having visions of the future, and so he sets out to find and train his own apprentice, a young red Twi'lek girl. Guys, let me know if you're following, because remember when I showed you the George Lucas's, you know, what he was gonna, you know, what he planned to do. This red Twi'lek girl was gonna be the Darth Vader of the sequel trilogy. Maul was gonna be the Emperor of the sequel trilogy. Instead, we got Snoke and fucking Kylo. And this whole story that we're gonna see in this show is gonna be much closer to what George Lucas's original plans for the sequel trilogy were, involving the female Sith, specifically Darth Talon. who is expanded on in Legends. You see her with Cade Skywalker and all that. And so the series itself looks amazing, featuring new art that sort of builds upon the animation style of the Clone Wars, but with more, textures and graphics. And so definitely a nice, particularly pop off in lightsaber blades and gun blaster fire. And so and we do see a familiar face. We see Marok, the Inquisitor from Ahsoka, and it does feel like fans have already seen enough of Darth Maul, and as we were like, another Darth Maul thing, fuck. Dude, the truth is that there's large gaps between his fall as a Sith, the creation of his crime syndicate, and his demise in Rebels. There's a lot of gaps. And so, this is a character that really thrives in animation. We've seen, and hearing Sam Witwer voice him again is I think is definitely enough reason to tune into Maul Shadow Lord animated series when it debuts on Disney Plus in 2026. I'm gassed. Apparently the first episode of Talks of the Underworld focuses on Asajj Ventress and Quinlan Vos. And before the brand new Maul series, Lucasfilm Animation treated audiences at Star Wars Celebration to an entire episode of the upcoming Tales of the Underworld animated anthology series. Because remember, we had Tales of the Jedi, which was phenomenal. Then we had Tales of the Empire, which was absolute butt. And then now we have Tales of the Underworld, which again is going to more build on George Lucas's original plans for the sequel trilogy and just get more into that syndicate, that crime syndicate dopeness that has been missing so badly from Disney Star Wars. Darth Talon is super hot, bro. Super hot.
Yeah, which I don't understand. Why they just do that from the start. I mean, it would give Star Wars a fresh new take, a fresh new look, new characters, new everything. Like it would have actually gave Disney or Kathleen Kennedy, and I hate to say her name, what they kept saying they were looking for. They wanted to do something new. They wanted to do something different, but use Star Wars. The material was there. All you had to do was just use it.
They didn't want to use George's idea because then they lose control. That's the whole thing. That's the answer to your question. It's a shitty answer. It's a bullshit reason. It sucks, but bottom line is they wanted full control, so they had to change everything so that they were in control of it. Because as soon as they are using his stuff, now he can come in and say, well, no, you can't do that because this, you can't do this because that. And they didn't want that because, they had plans. They had plans to feminize the Force. And not that that's inherently a bad thing to bring more female vibes to it because, it's a new day, and I love the female lead. The female badass is one of my favorite tropes in fiction, and I actually was writing a novel with a female lead, but then things changed in social media, and all that stuff became they kind of ruined it for me, and so now I hope that they'll make it better. I love what they did with Ahsoka. I love what Rosario Dawson does with Ahsoka. But back to Tales of the Underworld, because we're going to get to that. Tales of the Underworld animated anthology series. Can't wait. Released on the coming this May 4th. May the 4th be with you on Disney Plus. The episode that they showed, the first one, focuses on Asajj Ventress, more specifically as Jedi Quinlan Vos and Obi-Wan bring her corpse to Dathomir. Yes, her corpse. Quinlan Vos and a dead Ventress. And the episode appears to take place directly after the events of the canon novel Dark Disciple, which if you haven't read, you're not a Star Wars fan, fuck off. Go read your books. In which Ventress sacrifices herself to save her lover Vos from Count Dooku. Now, Tales of the Underworld will explain how she ended up alive and living as a bounty hunter during the events of the Bad Batch. This episode in particular will see Ventress return to life and attempt to live a quiet life where she gets to she finds a young kid trying to use the Force to buy safe passage away from the Empire-controlled planet. And she inadvertently ends up helping him to find the path that Vos helped create to take Jedi to safer to safety after the purge, after Order 66. It's kind of the Jedi's Underground Railroad. Forgive me. And this sort of feels like the kind of story this anthology series was made for. We've got characters who had big stories told in expanded media. This was the problem with Tales of the Empire. They just did this side shit people no one cared about. Well, you got to use characters that we're dying to see about, right? It has to be a big character that's been all through the movies, the games, the books. All right, they have to be legit. And to be quite honest, not many people have experience. That not many people have experience. And so, Dark Disciple, the book, was meant to be a part of the then canceled 7th season of Clone Wars before it got turned into the novel. And so, why not give in, the animation, having that same treatment? So the Bad Batch got revived after the original episodes were briefly scrapped. And now Lucasfilm Animation revived an old idea at Star Wars Celebration 2025. But first of all, before I get into that, Stu, what do you think about this Maul show, man? How's that sound?
It sounds dope. Maul had it. They did a lot. They were going to do a lot with Maul, but for some reason they canceled it. Maul had a video game.
Mm-hmm.
I actually saw a gameplay of it. It was super dope. It was like a side scroller. Maul had a couple of projects, other TV shows, other cartoons they were going to put out. They just scrapped them all. Actually, they didn't even scrap them. From what I understand, they shelved them. They still exist. They're still around. And for some reason, we just never got to see them. I'm excited for Maul anything because Maul got robbed. We only seen him a little bit in the first Star Wars movie, episode 1. And then we did get to see him kick ass. They killed him, and then I guess we complained so much they brought him back with robotic implants, which is cool. But we never got to see any. Right, and we never got to see anything after that with the robo legs.
Right.
Nothing. I mean, they were writing stories and doing certain things with them, but we never got to see anything.
I want to see when his body gets cut in half and he falls to the bottom of that pit. I want to see his ass waking up at the bottom of the pit with his body in half and how he deals with that. Like, I want to see him pull that shit together. Like, I want to see all that again, and have that played out. But yeah,
and know how he survived. Like, let's give it a look. Know how he survived all that.
First thing he does, he ends up with like spider legs. Remember?
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
And then he gets regular legs and shit. But like that whole spider leg thing, and like he ends up going crazy because of all that whole thing. I mean, it would be cool to kind of rehash that and then touch on that again, and let's see that play out, and then like really get into his backstory. But Dark Disciple, Tales of the Underworld, that's the next show there, which I know we are excited for because that first one was dope. That Tales of the Jedi. I remember Dooku and young Dooku and young Qui-Gon.
Yeah, Maul was just, I don't know. He's that guy. He's that character that we always wanted to see, but never could get a lot out of.
Yeah. Well, if you're starving for some Maul, you're about to get your fill. Me personally, like I said, I always was interested in his backstory. But moving on to the next guy. The next panel that we're going to talk about. Well, speaking of old ideas, the Dave Filoni introduced a never before seen clip of an unproduced episode found in a dusty old computer. The clip in question was from a story arc in which Boba Fett was taken in by Cad Bane and trained as a bounty hunter. As Filoni tells it, the story arc was much like the Duel of Fates from the Phantom Menace about fathers. The idea was that Jango was the good father and Cad was the bad father. And the footage shows Cad flying through Coruscant with his jet boots, and quickly abandoning Boba, who Anakin Skywalker himself is chasing on a speeder. Even in animatic, form, the chase sequence through the streets of Coruscant is dope, and you see Anakin busting shots at Boba, who is shooting back, and he just got his signature flamethrower, and he's got his grappling hook, he's busting out and all that shit. And so even after Anakin loses his speeder and they continue fighting, evoking Obi-Wan's fight with Jango in Attack of the Clones, until the young Boba manages to escape the Jedi. And so the clip ends with Anakin getting a call from Mace Windu, who urges Skywalker to chase down the assassins. And who did they try to kill and why? Perhaps we'll never know. Maybe we'll receive a new announcement from Lucasfilm Animation in the next few years about a new Star Wars animated show. It's happened before, after all. Stay tuned, but we'll definitely let you know if and when that does go down. The main focus on the Maul show, unleashing what he said, the first trailer kind of gives us a better idea of what to expect. Let's see, the main focus of the teaser was to show Maul unleashing hell on his enemies. However, the big reveal comes when he is revealed to be training Twi'lek, the Twi'lek, Darth Talon. That's the big for me, that's the big surprise. But George Lucas's plan for her to be heavily featured in the Star Wars sequel trilogy as Maul's new apprentice, with her master, serving in an Emperor Palpatine like role as a crime lord of this whole crime syndicate. And so Talon would have been his Darth Vader. And so that idea was scrapped when Disney decided to head in their own direction because they wanted their control. And so, but it will be interesting to finally get that story. That's what I'm so excited about, to finally see Lucas's joint in fruition. Let me see if we can snatch a peek.
That would be great.
Hang on. Got you with a peek sneak. Hang on.
What's up?
Peek sneaking it. There we go. Bing bang, bing bang. There we go. All right. Now, it's from a little phone in the audience, so hey. Animation looks amazing.
Yeah. The sound, I can't make out the sound.
Maul. Nice. Woo. Man, I wish I was in Japan.
Hard right there.
There she is.
Oh wow.
She's supposed. Okay, she's not tatted up yet. She's gonna have all the same shit on her that Maul has. She gotta have the markings. They gotta tattoo them joints on her. She's gonna be bad as fuck. Dude, move this dude's head. Are you serious? Are you kidding me? I blame the person filming, of course. Like, why are you filming the back of this fucking idiot's head? Well, there you go, man. That's as good as we get for now. Which, I'm not mad at it. It's a nice little.
Hey, we got what we got.
Nice little peek sneak there. I like that. Yeah. 2026 Disney Plus. There you go. Let's see if there's another version. There's always better versions. It's not same dude's head. What'd you say?
2026.
Yeah, we got a year. We got a year to go. A year and a half, really. Yeah. Shit. More than that.
Please. Help us, please.
It's gonna be a minute, but hey,
it's worth. It should be worth the wait, man. I mean,
yeah,
they did a good job. They did a good job with Bad Batch. I'm gonna keep it a buck. So if it's,
yeah,
they should do a good job with this. And Maul is something everybody's been waiting for. Everybody loves Darth Maul.
Like, yeah, you gotta love Maul.
Got something. Yeah, we should have been got something with Maul, man, years ago. But
yeah,
of course we had to wait, and everything else had to fail before Maul could be put forward to succeed. That's how I look at it.
Yeah, and it's one thing that we got from the celebration, from the Star Wars Celebration show, and there is many more to come. So stay tuned. We're getting into that right now. And the Star Wars Celebration, everything we know about the Ahsoka panel, guys. We're going to talk about Ahsoka now. And now, if you did not like the Ahsoka show, I understand, but if you're really a big fan of this content and this lore and stuff, you're going to appreciate a lot of it and be happy to see more of it. And I thought it was the best of the bad shows. Let's give it that. It was the best of the bad Disney shows. And what are the good Disney shows? Mando season 1 and 2, Andor, Tales of the Skeleton Key was fucking pretty good. Skeleton Crew was not bad. I'll give that a. That was decent. That was good.
Andor was good.
I feel like I'm missing one.
Andor. Did you say Andor?
Yeah, I said Andor. And Mando 1 and 2 rather. Ahsoka is like right there. Then it's Ahsoka. Then you start going downhill. Boba Fett and Kenobi, and that's the last. That's all the way at the bottom. That's the worst one. But yeah, the Ahsoka panel at Star Wars was filled with teases for season 2. Now, one of those big teases was Rory McCann as Baylan Skoll, which is he's a big star from the Game of Thrones show. He played the Hound, the big dude that was like one of the main cast members, had his own arc and everything. Was it Arya? Yeah, they would have many adventures. And now he's playing Baylan Skoll because the late great Ray Stevenson has passed away. And what do you do when that happens, Stu?
Recast.
You recast, and there we go. And so they've done that, and they've done it. I think they did well. I like the way he looks in the robe and everything, which I'll show you guys here now, compared to yeah, there we go. My bad, man. Where's it at? There it is. Okay, we're getting it. I got a bunch of other pictures and Fantastic Four stuff and Silver Surfer stuff we're going to be sifting through as well. But there's Rory himself as the new Baylan Skoll. We haven't seen any footage of Ahsoka season 2. They didn't show any of that or get a release date. But again, we learned about what we can expect in these new episodes, and let's get into it. The Ahsoka panel, Star Wars Celebration. We got our first look at Rory McCann as Baylan Skoll. For those unfamiliar, again, he's taking the role of passing Ray Stevenson. So Stevenson died 3 months before the premiere of Ahsoka. He never actually got to see himself as Baylan Skoll on the show, which is heartbreaking. But his portrayal of Baylan was, I think, for me, Stu, let me know if you agree, was the high point of the show. He was the coolest thing about it.
And at the end, we didn't know, like at the end, the way he stepped off, like he knew something that they didn't, and he was, like he was going to change something. Like, yeah, right. like he's still a part of the show. He just is on a different mission.
Mm-hmm.
And it made you feel like he was a what do you call them? Dark Jedi's.
Yeah,
Listen, I
mysterious
love
and
the
shit.
character. Yeah,
And and the idea, the rumors or the theories of what he's doing, and I think that there's been some confirmation, is very cool. The Aeloth, the gods, it's a whole dark side, force, light side, force, gods, and all this like really supernatural stuff that's way beyond, Sith training, Palpatine, stuff like that. Way bigger than that. That's why Baylan Skoll was always like the Sith were just beneath him. Like he was like, yeah, it's not for me. And we know why. He's beyond that. So we're gonna see some really cool shit. I hope if they follow that plot line from Rebels. So we'll see. Dave Filoni said talked more about the challenge of moving on after Ray Stevenson, especially because he says he was the most beautiful person on screen and off, quote unquote. However, he said while it took some time, he is confident that Ray could be happy with the direction we've chosen. So for Filoni, Baylan is meant to be the parallel to Ahsoka in every way, right? Her antithesis. So, or not maybe, but her parallel. And so he's so grateful that there's a blueprint for what this character should be because Ray had played him so iconically. And it was the way Ray Stevenson played the character that made us love it because, to be honest, it didn't tell us much. We didn't learn a lot about him. Like if somebody had just played that character boring and wasn't Ray Stevenson, no one would have cared to find out what it was because we don't know, but we're interested because Ray made us interested.
Yeah, and he gave the character much character. if you want to really break it down, I like the way he played it. I just like the cryptic aspect of it. Like when I first seen him when they were in that hangar, I was like, "Oh, who is this dude?"
Yeah.
And then when he pulled out the lightsaber, I was like, "Yo," I was like, "Wait a minute, hold up." So yeah, we definitely want to see more of him in the season 2.
Yeah, so can't wait to see what this new actor does with it because he's got his own style and he'll do things as well. Talking about Rory from Game of Thrones, but next on the docket, man, we've got Hayden Christensen officially returning as Anakin in Ahsoka 2. He played that a very important role, I think, in the first season of Ahsoka. It was confirmed at Star Wars Celebration that he was officially returning as Anakin as Skywalker, and who else, in season 2. We didn't learn a lot about what his new role would be in these new episodes, but he did stop by the Ahsoka panel and discussed returning. And so he said it was a dream to get to do it. The way they conceived how to do it was brilliant in getting to explore the world between worlds. I thought it was all really exciting. End quote. And so this was obviously a big deal for the Ahsoka series, and Dave Filoni, as he joked that he knew he needed to work with Christensen, Anakin again, and had to invent entire dimensions to make it happen. It was the jokes of the whole world. So, but for Christensen, one of the joys of returning as Anakin was being able to bring to life a version of the character from the Clone Wars that he really didn't get to play. And so he said, all of this has been presented well and in the animated world, but I was really excited to do that in live action. He said, as much as I love the traditional Jedi robes I wore during the prequels, it was exciting to get to see how Anakin was with the new look. And we will also see many more faces returning. Of course, the Ahsoka panel didn't feature a traditional trailer, but it did give us a glimpse of, into what we can expect from season 2 and who we can expect to return. So the trailer had no moving footage. It was just images like I'm showing you now. So, but it did confirm Sabine, Ezra, Zeb, Chopper, all the usual suspects will, of course, be back. And, but elsewhere in the panel, it was revealed that Admiral Akbar will have a big part to play in the upcoming story and will face off against Grand Admiral Thrawn. And there will also be incredibly adorable Loth kittens. And whatever Loth kittens are, I don't know. And according to Filoni, X-Wings, A-Wings, and wings I can't tell you about. So some news. So I don't know, but yeah. We don't know yet when Ahsoka will be coming back. We did not get a date, which I found really odd that they didn't tell us when the show was dropping at the celebration. That was weird. But maybe they'll have that information when the celebration, Star Wars Celebration, comes to the United States. I don't know.
Yeah. So we'll get it on what, the 4th?
What?
The Star Wars Celebration in the U.S.
May? Yeah, May 4th, right? Mm-hmm. And but yeah, alongside the big reveals for season 2, we learned a lot more about Ahsoka, its inspirations, and more from like the actors and creatives who brought it to life. It all starts with Filoni sharing that he's been very inspired by Studio Ghibli's Hayao Miyazaki and his life, and that his favorite movie is Princess Mononoke, which I actually have a copy of. But if you don't know Studio Ghibli, you're probably not into anime, but Studio Ghibli is one of the biggest, most popular anime studios out there, and they have a very unique style. It's very, I don't know. It's hard to explain. It's wholesome in a way. But in fact, that film is the reason why Ahsoka has 2 wolf fangs on her cheeks. And Filoni was joined by Favreau. Rosario Dawson came up. They all chopped it up about how the Ahsoka series came to be, and they were saying how it began after season 1 of The Mandalorian and happened when Filoni and Favreau were talking about what they should bring to life next. Right, season 1 of Mando was just so dope, and they're like, "What are we gonna do next?" Filoni's love for Ahsoka is no secret, as he helped create her with George Lucas. And they both agreed that they should play with the idea of bringing her to live action. And so this led them to doing an episode for season 2 of The Mandalorian, which had her, after finding the right person, an aesthetic for the character. We all know that Rosario Dawson was the one chosen to play Ahsoka in live action after Ashley Eckstein played her so wonderfully in the animated world. Dawson talked about, what it was like to find out that she'd be playing the character and all that stuff. And so all this happened after the big online push for Dawson to play Ahsoka, and Dave Filoni and Favreau both agreed that she'd be great for the character. So when it was time for Dawson to get the role, she said that they showed her art and drawings that they had done of her as the character, and she needed to mute herself on the video call because she was jumping up and down and freaking out and yelling and screaming. So even still, they were treating this Ahsoka appearance as a one-off, as if they still weren't sure they could make Ahsoka work long term. But they said, even if this, Rosario Dawson said, even if this never happens again, I'm so grateful. It was just so magnificent on so many levels. To see the fan reaction that allowed this story to continue was a dream come true. And as we all know, Ahsoka's journey would continue far beyond that one episode, of course. And, while they're, there was still like kind of doubt that they could get Ahsoka on screen on a day-to-day basis. And it was a complicated thing, apparently. And so, but it all proved worth it in the end. Favreau said, when we started to move into the Ahsoka episodes with revisited characters like Bo-Katan, everything shifted toward a continuation of what Dave and George had done with animation, while culminating storylines that had already been established. And for the team, Ahsoka is not so different than watching A New Hope, right? As it starts in the middle of Ahsoka's journey. And so there's so much that came before it, and so it made sense and worked out in their format. So also there's much to yet to learn about Ahsoka, right? And Rosario Dawson is just very excited about, us getting to explore and fill out her story in live action. And she said, I did not know where this character was going in live action. I could understand her fear, anxiety, and stress, and desire to help from afar. She wasn't willing to take over the mentor role herself, so it became a wonderful thing that I got to explore. And it was a very good portrayal indeed. And Ahsoka 2 is starting, to film, but again, we did not get a release date yet. some of the other icons that it's rumored to bring back, like Obi-Wan and some of the other characters. Of course, you know, the regulars will come back and everything, but you know, Mon Mothma, C-3PO, stuff like that may actually come through. But yeah, I can't wait. I think it's going to be an improvement on the first show, or the first season rather. So,
and the first season was good.
And the first season was good already. So, yeah, I mean, a lot of people had a lot of complaints, but I wasn't one of those. I mean, I will say I have immense complaints about Ezra. For fans of Ezra, like for my son Blaze was a big fan of, you know, he was excited about to see Ezra in live action, and we got what we got, and it's definitely not Ezra from the show that we know.
But he grew up a little bit, you know. I mean, he's got to be older because he was younger when he disappeared. So he's been out there for Lord knows how long.
I don't mean how he looks and shit. I know he's older, but I mean his powers, you know, the way he works, the shit he does, how he doesn't use his lightsaber, the whole thing is just it was a letdown for fans that wanted to see him, you know, elevate from where he was, not take steps back. You know, he had
no training. Yeah, I remember he had no training out there, nobody to guide him.
Right.
And he was only doing what he knew he could do. And experimenting with the Force. No Force ghosts, nobody to guide him, nothing.
Yeah, so, I mean, there's a lot of reasons that I have that I'll not get into, but it was just not. And for me, like I'm not a big super mega Ezra fan to begin with, so it wasn't like I was super let down, but I definitely understand the people that were let down and all the reasons they were let down. I mean, I've seen people make whole videos about it, bro. Like whole videos talking about all the shit that was wrong with that character. So, I mean, there's a lot, but
nah, you gotta take your hat off to him because
Baylan Skoll, that's what I'm worried about.
Yeah, you gotta take your hat off to him because we say it on this channel all the time. Look, people are passionate about Star Wars, man. Like, I mean, like deeply passionate. When George Lucas, a perfect example is when he changed the movies, A New Hope, Empire, and all that, and he added those CG enhancements. Like he wanted that. That was his dream to see Star Wars like that. Like that's what he wanted, and he finally had the technology to do it. So he did it. He was happy with it, but he said he was getting death threats. People was writing him letters talking about killing him, and why would he do that? Like man, they're passionate. Star Wars are passionate fans, bro.
Oh yeah, that's why it's so mind blowing to me that they've made so many drastic changes and I don't know, just going so far from the established fandom and lore. But what does this look like to you? What's that remind you of? Right off the bat, it doesn't hit you immediately?
Nah, nothing.
Led Zeppelin album cover, Houses of the Holy.
I can see it. But I wouldn't have made that distinction
once we say
that. I wouldn't have made that right away.
I'll show you what the cover looks like. There you go. Yeah. Yeah, super similar. There we go.
Yeah, they are. Yeah.
Who knows? But anyway, the reason I bring that up is it is a concept artwork for Ahsoka season 2. Just some of the concept doesn't really do much for us, doesn't tell us much. And then here's a look at the recast Baylan Skoll for Rory McCann, and that is going to be cool. Now these are the Loth kittens, so they're doing. Star Wars always has like a cute thing. There's always some cute. At first it was the R2D2, and then BB-8. There's always
Ewoks.
some little cute Ewoks. Yeah, of course,
those
Ewoks.
things Chewbacca was roasting on the planet.
Yeah,
Force Awakens.
Yeah, the little tiny alien. I mean, there's always something cute for the kids, but that's Loth kittens. They are so small they roll instead of walk. Yeah, so it's not it's not something you've seen before in live action for sure, but it's definitely from the animated stuff. And then you got, let's see, Rosario Dawson. Sorry, this is Rosario Dawson and Filoni and Favreau just walking out.
Yeah, they going crazy.
Man, that's dope. I want to be in Japan.
Yeah, I would love to be in Japan right now. Because I definitely would be there. Look at that, bro.
Yo, I want to be in Japan, man. That's dope. That was the Japanese, what you call it?
And Thrawn will be involved. We will see a lot more of him. You'll see a lot more of Ezra. You'll see a lot more Hera. It's gonna impact into it, and she'll be much more directly part of the action. Because you guys made such a big deal about it, I put a lot more Chopper in.
Yeah, we gotta have more Chopper.
Yeah,
I agree with that.
I don't know who complained about not a lot of. It was Zeb we were talking about that we wanted Zeb, not Chopper. I don't know, but yeah,
people like Chopper, dog. People like Chopper.
Absolutely.
He's like a more aggressive R2D2.
Right. The mannequin himself. The mannequin himself. Yeah, he's the star of it all. Let's see. Oh, this must be, that's the trailer for the first show. Yeah. Hayden's coming back. And now he
I can't wait.
Yeah, he says that he always loves when it goes dark. He said, let me quote Christensen here. He let's see, they were talking to him about stories that he would want to bring to the screen, and he shared with with them how much that he would love to get to do some more Clone Wars era. And this tracks, as besides that great scene in Ahsoka and some smaller parts in the films, most of the Clone Wars era Anakin we've seen has been in animation, and that was played by Matt Lanter, who did the voice. But Hayden, all that stuff could be done in live. I'm sure Hayden wants to do all that in live action at some point if he could. But what he said, I know my friend Ewan would, Ewan McGregor would be game for that as well. He said it's a cool look. It's sort of a cool period for Star Wars, and I think there are great stories that we could tell there. So who knows? Maybe one day. And while we all love see that happen, he understands that it would. He said require a little bit of aging magic to make that happen, because of course he's aged, as we all have. However, that doesn't really discourage him, much, or make him think of leaving the character anytime soon. Of course, we've seen deep fakes, or not deep fakes, but de-agings of Robert De Niro and all kinds of characters. So if they want these actors now, now an actor's career can last much longer if they're a megastar, because they're not de-aging anybody that's not a megastar. Sorry, but he said, I love this character. He said, I would love the chance to continue to explore Anakin's story some more and hopefully to do the Darth Vader timeline a little bit more too. I think there's more stories to be told. And he's right, because if the comics or books or anything to go by, there's a fuck ton of Darth Vader stories going on. Tons of Darth Vader stories.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
But that's why I just go dark or draw a blank. And I'm like, if you listen to stuff Kathleen Kennedy says, you're like, well, you've had all these chances to do all these things. Like there was like Darth Vader, you could have did a whole thing on just things that happened after Order 66. How he got, and led all the way up to Revenge of the Jedi. You could have did Clone Wars, you could have did Dash Rendar, you could have did Prince Izor. It's a lot. And when she took over, she basically cut the throat on all that by saying a lot of stuff wasn't canon. Like it was a lot of stuff. That's not canon. This is not canon. We're not going to use this. Right? But when I talk to Star Wars fans, they say a lot of stuff they did in those last 3 movies were eerily similar to stuff that took place in a lot of the books that she said wasn't canon. And I've talked to older Star Wars fans, younger Star Wars fans, people in the middle, and people that read those books. They was like, nah, Star Killer Base is kind of like this, and the First Order is kind of like this. And they were breaking it down. So I've never read any of those books. I know you have. And I know you've probably seen some similarities that you could point out yourself.
Yeah, and I'm glad you real quick, I'm gonna show you something. Matter of fact, glad you brought up Dash Rendar, because there's a new Dash Rendar Star Wars Black Series figure. That's dope. And it's sold out almost immediately. Oh, they got some more. So get over to Hasbro, guys, real quick. Hasbro Pulse. You can get your Dash Rendar figure. Stu, we've been talking about we've been wanting a Dash Rendar forever.
You and me both. Did they restock Dash?
Yeah.
I want the other day. Gone.
Gone, bro. Man. They got some more right now. Check it out. Boom. Live action. There you go, guys. Pre-order right there. Let me see if I can. Yep. Boom. Let me add it to my cart. Let me take it out. Let me dump that out of my cart. What'd I do? I added one? No, I didn't. There you go. Take it out. But yeah, man, get your Dash Rendar, because that dude is a dope character from the game. And there's already the villain.
Now I've talked to people when it comes to Star Wars, the Black Series. I've talked to people that said that like certain ones are hard to find. Like
oh yeah,
they were saying how like who was Ahsoka? They said Ahsoka is one that's super hard to find, because they said once they came out with her, they didn't bring her back out. Like that was just it.
There's a bunch of Ahsokas though. No, there's a few Black Series Ahsokas. There's a bunch of them.
But they said the first ones they bought, like the first one. Or
the first one might be hard to get.
Yeah. And I know guys that collect those hard. There's a guy, I'm trying to get him on the show, man. I'm trying to get him here. He has an incredible Black Series collection.
Bro, look at this. Incredible. OG Han.
Man, Han is hard.
And OG Chewie had to get Han and Chewie. Look at that. That's great look. Oh yeah.
That's good. Did you get Moff Gideon?
I have him off Gideon, signed by Giancarlo Esposito.
Get out of here.
Yeah, he signed my. But I didn't get this new one. I got the first Moff Gideon, but this is the new one right here. And then they've got. I really want this one, but I don't want this. This red armored Luke. I don't want that, but I want this Bosch. This Leia in the Bosch armor. Yeah, I really want that. That was one of my favorite things as a kid when she came out with that armor. I was a little bit disappointed when I found out it was her, but hey, I think a lot of it. But there's the OG Leia. I want to grab this to go with that Han and Chewie.
Oh yeah.
And then this too. So
did he bring out Luke?
Yeah, I want this Luke, the Leia, and the Han and Chewie, just them 4. And I need they need to do an Obi-Wan. I'm sure they will soon. They need to do an OG Obi-Wan, and then that'll be a perfect set right there. That's all you need. And if you can grab a C-3PO and R2-D2, you butter. Then I already got the Emperor and the Vader, so it'd be dope. But this is Dash Rendar's Vader.
Yeah, Prince Izor.
Yeah. And he's been out for a while, so you can grab him now. He's in stock. He's a great looking figure too. Got some cloth parts and shit. So really nice detail.
Yeah, he's really dope, man. I can get him, man. Look, yeah, he's really dope.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, he's way doper than I thought at first glance. Yes, but yeah, check those out. And Dash Rendar. But yeah, Dash Rendar, there was other stuff revealed too at the thing. There was the let's see, Dash Rendar was easily the highlight of the panel, proving that Hasbro isn't shy about revisiting Legends timeline now and then. In the past, they are in the movies, damn it. But in the past, they've tackled things like Jaina Solo, several characters from the Knights of the Old Republic series. Dash Rendar will be released as part of a 6-inch Black series. So yeah, from the Old Republic series, I've got a Darth Malgus, I've got a Darth Revan. We've got a Darth Malik on the way, not on the way, but in a couple months. That thing's been for like 2 years on pre-order. I don't know what's going on with the Malik.
Yeah,
but
my son's in love with all. He collects all the Jedis. He collects all the Jedis and the droids. Jedis, droids, and bounty hunters. That's his thing.
Yeah. I like anybody with a face, a mask, or a helmet, and mostly Siths and Jedis. I want to get another Kit Fisto. But it says, as for Jedi Survivor, fans can look for the Night Sister Marin figure, which we just saw. Really shitty figure character no one cares about. I don't know why they make some of these. I guess they have to, because otherwise they just keep remaking the same figures over and over, which people complain about a lot with Black Series. So they make all these random characters and tell me why. What?
I'll tell you why they do it. Oh, because remember back in 77, we got the first batch of Star Wars figures, second batch Empire, third batch. Remember, they came up with, there was a figure for everything in the movie, and that's just
beside people Star Wars canteen, all that.
It's just a Star Wars thing. Yeah, they just give you everybody. Yeah, they give you every.
But why? But why though?
I guess it's a money thing, man. The more, because if you think about it, if you just had Han, Leia, Chewie, right, Luke, Vader, Obi-Wan, Emperor,
all right,
and a Stormtrooper, that's only 8 characters. I mean, it ain't gonna make much money. You're gonna. It's gonna be like, well, we only got 8 characters, so they just gave you everything, even people that didn't have any action parts or roles or lines in the movie. They just gave them to you. People liked them. I remember we went crazy over Boba Fett. He didn't say nothing in the movie when we first saw him. It was like, yo, who is that? Everybody went crazy over him. So I guess
all the little aliens, all the background aliens, all that shit. Every version of every droid that you saw in the movie, they made figures for everything. Every single character that was in the movie. If there was a background extra, they made the fucking character. They made the figure.
They made the figure. That's true. Yeah, I wish G.I. Joe would do that, because when you had the cartoon, you had a couple characters. Like, remember the one episode with Shipwreck? They were trying to get the formula from Shipwreck, and they brainwashed him, make them thought that Lady J died. And they were trying to get the code word to tell them the formula, and the Crimson Guards came in there with this. They came in with a cadet. I forget her name, but she had a dope uniform on, and we never got that character. We never got that. They never gave us that. But that would have been dope if we did get her.
Yeah. This is all we get from Mando and Grogu. Mando and Grogu is that teaser. But yeah, the Black Series, they got Cal Kestis, a 3-pack with Cal Kestis, Turgle, and Scoofa Stev. both in the Black Series line. Hasbro is releasing that new Marin figure in a rocket launcher trooper in a smaller 3.75-inch vintage collection line. The Star Wars vintage collection line, really cool, really good. Very, very highly detailed little figures. 3.75, every bit as detailed as a G.I. Joe, or maybe way more actually. More like the 2025, the newer G.I. Joes. They look like Black Series shrunk down. They're fully articulated. All the articulation you want from a Black Series is in these little figures that they do now, the vintage collection. And then they have the retro collection, which actually look like the old, no articulation, just, you know, shoulders and hips move. But our other highlights include new Black Series figures of Han Solo and Chewbacca, which I showed you. Based on their episode 4 looks in a vintage collection playset that features a Tusken Raider and a full-size Bantha. Oh yeah, I didn't show you that. There's a Bantha with fur and all kinds of shit. It's really cool.
That. I was like, yo, that joint. I think this one.
Unfortunately, it's not Black Series. This is a vintage collection. So this is a 3.75-inch size, but still really cool, man. Tusken Raider on the Bantha, man, with the fur and everything. That is really dope. Is it $70 dope? I think not. No.
I think it's reasonably priced. I don't want it, but I think if you wanted it, it's reasonable. I think that's reasonable.
Keep in mind, it's this big. It's not for Black Series. It's a small. It's for the 375.
The Bantha.
Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah. This is small. This is the 3.75-inch figure size. So the Bantha is like this. It's not a fucking. If it was a Black Series Bantha for 70,
it'd be huge.
Yes,
it'd be huge. Yeah.
And I would say that would be a good price point for a Black Series,
but not for. We got tariffs now.
Tariffs, well, we don't know what it's going to cost with the tariff. We ain't even add the tariff on yet. So we'll see.
Man. And it's sad because there's some other stuff I wanted to get, but I can't get it. I got too much out there. I got too much money out there right now. Order because now I'm like, damn, I gotta pay. If I'm going to get the figure, which I know I gotta pay this tariff. It's
crazy.
It's killing the game right now.
Yeah, the tariffs are going to kill a lot of the game. Now this Crosshair is sold out, but if you collect vintage, you bought this immediately. Like, this is a dope Crosshair. Look at that. Imagine if G.I. Joes looked this good when they were back in the day. This is 3.75-inch, bro. This is not Black Series. This is little.
I wish.
Yeah, bro.
I say it all the time. I be like, I wish G.I. Joe, I wish G.I. Joe classifieds came out back in 85. I wish it would be.
Oh my God, bro. My bad, y'all. I thought I was showing you shit this whole time. Stu, you gotta help me out, bro. If you see me talking about showing something and I ain't showing nothing, just let me know. All right, let me show you guys again here. The whole thing I just was talking to y'all about. My bad. Yeah, sometimes I don't know when it's showing up or not. I can't see it from where I'm controlling it. Okay, so that Bantha I was just talking to you about and acting like you guys could see. Let's go back to that. There it is. All right. There you go.
It's hard.
So there's the Bantha that I was just telling y'all about. It is for 3.75-inch. It is about yay big. And it's got actual like fur, hair, whatever you have there. Who knows what it's made of? Probably some sort of plastic hair. There he is, all closed up. A lot of detail, like I said, for the 3.75-inch. But there he is. I don't know why I'm like advertising this for you guys now, but there you go. $70. I think it's overpriced for a small thing like that. This is the Crosshair figure. When I was saying I wish our G.I. Joes could have looked like this, this is what I was referring to. That's some detail right there for a small figure. That's a lot of detail. Hell yeah. It's nice. Very nice. And Let's see if you saw. All right, so I don't know if you guys saw the Chewie and the Han. There's the Han. There's the Dash Rendar. Dope. I'm just glad we got Old Republic characters, man. Or Gamerverse, Old Republic even. But that's highly detailed. That's nice. I'm glad. What's on, bro?
No, I'm looking at those joints. I can't believe those 3.75. I like that, man.
Yeah.
I can't do it though, man. I can't do it. I'm trying not to look because I'm gonna want to buy them. I want to go get them.
Yeah.
I don't understand.
I can't start a new collection.
Like I can't either, bro. And this was what's killing me, man. But I gotta go after this. But this was killing me. You knew that all this was coming. Like January, they could have. I'm gonna keep it a buck. They could have rushed this and got this out to us before it was affected by these tariffs and all of that. And with all the stuff it's like they bring out stuff like there are no tariffs. Like we're not gonna be affected by it. You could have rushed some stuff out, man, and got it to the plate faster. Even if we had to pay a little more for it or whatever the case, but you could have did it, man. What's this? The 4th month? In 4 months, you could have got out a lot of this stuff.
Maybe they will.
Could have just did it. I hope so, man. But we're gonna have to pay. We're gonna have to pay more for them. It's just.
I mean, not yet. This just came. I ain't paying no tariff on this. Tariffs haven't hit yet. I mean, I'm getting stuff delivered now and no tariffs yet. They're talking about like in the fall, but we'll see.
Fall? We talking about like July. I do know as as an update on the channel to everybody watching too. They paused it for I forget how many days, but then he reinstated it. So it's gonna be like the end.
You know what I'm hoping, bro? I'm hoping that he actually is gonna just decide, or they're gonna convince him that he needs to fucking not do that right now.
He said no, and that's the reason why they're kicking in earlier than what he said. Because remember, he put a 30-day hold or 60-day hold on it, and then he turned around because China was like, we ain't negotiating with you. Like China was like, no, like whatever.
Yeah.
If you don't like it, you don't like it. Yeah. And so the other countries like Vietnam and all of that, they said they want to negotiate, but it's taking too long. Yeah. So a lot of countries are like, whatever, just do it. We'll deal with it. And if they charge us, they charge, and if they don't, they don't. But because he keeps going back and forth with it, and he wants people to beg him to make a deal, China was the one that was outright defiant and just was like, we don't care, whatever, bye.
Because you're being a jerk off. I've seen what I'm not gonna get into all that right now. That's a whole other.
Yeah, I was curious. Yeah,
but but Pedro Pascal, man, has a big what do you call it? One of the biggest weeks of his career right now. And multiple major releases recently behind him, and set to arrive in the near future. After he just rose to prominence after Game of Thrones. And then The Mandalorian, 2 of arguably the greatest TV series of all time. Definitely Game of Thrones. But Pedro Pascal has become a household name. I feel like he's this generation's Tom Cruise. He's this generation's big star. He's the big movie star of Gen Z. He's their whatever whoever you want to put in there, whoever's name you want to put in there. But he's the mega star of the hour, and he's I mean, like I said, he's got the Mando movie coming out right now, and then he's got other shit that we don't even. He's got
don't forget the Robin drug dealer movie he got. TV show he has right now.
What Robin drug dealer TV show? Hold on, what are you talking about?
The one that's on Apple TV.
Dope Thief?
Yeah, Dope Thief. He's got Dope
Thief. He's not in that. TV. Now he's not in that. The dude kind of looks like him.
Okay, that was great. I thought that was Pedro Pascal. I haven't watched it yet. I just seen the previews.
Oh no, it's dope. It got the dude from what was that show with Donald Glover back in the day?
Oh,
you know
Atlanta.
Atlanta, right? He's a kid from Atlanta, is in there, and then the guy that kind of resembles Pedro, I guess. But anyway, he's got that. He's got Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent and Freaky Tales. Still fresh off his, Gladiator 2 movie, The Wild Robot, all of that. His appearances on Saturday Night Live 50th anniversary special. He's got the upcoming, franchise blockbusters. He's going to star in 2 2025 A24 films, Materialist and Eddington, and these are highly anticipated projects that hardly scratch the surface of what he has in store. Pedro Pascal has 3 big events this week, and it all leads up to Fantastic Four, bottom line. But Last of Us season 2 just came out. Did you watch the first one?
Yeah, sorry.
Season 1, you saw season 1?
Yeah, right. Season one was good. It was all right. I just think that they put too much emphasis on the thing that we talk about all the time. That they do.
Yeah.
And Last of Us just wasn't about that. And they tried to make it about that. So
the show very much is, right. Yeah, the show very much is. And so, but if aside from all that, man, I did enjoy that show a lot. Like all the rest about it was great. All that stuff aside, it was all really done really well, written really well. And here's the whole thing. I've said this a million times. I don't mind any of that stuff if it's written well, and is enjoyable to watch. And that's the problem. Half the time it's not written well. Half the time they're not worried about how it's written. They just want to get that statement across. And here's the thing. You won't get it across if it's not written well, because no one's going to like it or pay attention to it, and it won't resonate. You got to resonate. But I think Last of Us is one of those that season 2, we'll see what happens. Episode 1 was decent. I just watched it recently. But on April 17th, on Thursday, the first official trailer for the Fantastic Four First Steps dropped. And if you haven't seen the first trailer, go ahead and do that. But we're going to talk about it vaguely. But we're going to talk mostly about that Silver Surfer. But the movie's set to be released July 25th, 2025. And then you've got the Mandalorian and Grogu. That's also been showcased on a Star Wars Celebration in Japan this weekend, which, of course, another trailer will probably drop. But yeah, he's gonna dominate this summer and next summer. You're gonna get sick of Pedro Pascal. He's every fucking where right now, and he's gonna be everywhere moving forward. He's not only gonna be in Fantastic Four. Remember, he's gonna move forward to the Avengers movies, and he'll probably be. And here's what they're saying: he's gonna be the new Robert Downey Jr. for the MCU. He's the new Iron Man, if you will. Reed Richards. He's gonna be that new kind of centerpiece that Robert Downey Jr. was for the MCU for so long before he kind of bowed out. Now he's kind of being the bad guy, the Doom character, and Pedro Pascal is actually going to be eased in and transitioned to that sort of archetype for the MCU. And guys, hey, that dude is all about that stuff. I mean, he's heavy into it, so expect much more. But after watching that trailer, I'm pretty sure that we know how the movie's going to tie into the wider multiverse saga. After Thunderbolts is released, hang on, let me let Sada in here. Sada, welcome to the show. Pedro on Narcos felt like Miami Vice. Yo, welcome. Sada, how you been? Slade said I agree. Good. That's what's up. Yeah, we're talking about the currently we're getting ready to talk about Fantastic Four, and that Silver Surfer and why she looks so weird. We're gonna get into all that, but after the Thunderbolts is released onto the 2025 movie schedule in 2 weeks, we can sort of look forward to that Fantastic Four First Steps as this year's third and final upcoming Marvel movie. We just saw again the first trailer, which was decent. I liked a lot of what I saw, except for the way the Silver Surfer looked. Not that it's a female, and we'll talk about why that's not really a problem either. But there's a lot to absorb in this joint. And of course, Silver Surfer is probably the biggest thing that most people want to learn about and know about and understand. And so first we'll talk about, should we talk about the CGI or why? Okay. So if you're not aware, Marvel Studios showed a brand new take on Silver Surfer in the second trailer for the Fantastic Four First Steps movie at the CinemaCon, at the recent convention. So as many wonder why the character is a woman, right? A lot of people don't understand that. And so with just over 3 months until the movie comes out, Marvel Studios gave fans the second trailer, which sort of teased what to expect in the movie. And showing off the team's powers, you got to see the villains, you got to see a nice foot stomp of Galactus coming through the city. The director Matt Shakeman and company appear set to deliver an adventure inspired directly, by the team's earliest days in the comics. So it's not an origin. They've already, become who they are, but they are still like new hotness in the world. And so considering that this is being the fourth film in Marvel's, Fantastic Four that they've done, Marvel Studios is hoping to utilize this Fantastic Four team in ways that they've never done before, right? So they're trying to do something new. Will some of that happen with, the core heroes and the villains? Yes. Will that always not, it's not going to always be the best. Sometimes it'll suck. Sometimes it'll be good. But who is the Fantastic Four's female Silver Surfer, and why is she a girl? So the second trailer, we get to see her come out. And in the film, the character is now depicted as a woman, Silver Surfer, for the first time ever in a live action or any sort of action media. And so with the role of Shala Bal Surfer being played by Julia Garner. If you haven't seen her yet or really up close looked at her, here is what she looks like in the movie. And this could be seen as something a departure from the usual male version of Silver Surfer that we've seen and that we know. But the female Silver Surfer was a part of another universe called the Earth X universe. And this is how she looked in that. And this is very important. You'll note she's attached to Norrin Rad. They are like Gemini. They're twins. They're like twin surfers. And so that is how she existed in Marvel, in the comics. Never was she just a sole Herald of Galactus on her own. But basically Norrin Rad came to Galactus and he said, let my wife come with me, kind of thing, and join me and so that I'm not alone, kind of thing. And so he let them join and they became twin surfers and they heralded for Galactus together. So what Marvel's done is they've taken that character, that Silver Surfer idea of Shala Bal, who's been in the comics since 1968. Shala Bal has always been his wife. She's always been his love interest, and always has been part of the character since 1968, and so since the first joint. And so what she hasn't ever been is any form of Silver Surfer, except for this one alternate universe called Earth X where this happened. But the reason that this is not really a problem, or the reason that I can accept this personally, is because this is a alternate universe that this movie takes place in. Very, not just like how the MCU is an alternate universe of the comics, but this is actually an alternate universe from the MCU, and very, it's made very clear to be. And you can see it in the trailer. I mean, this is definitely a different place. And so things are different. What I think they're going to do, and what, we can certainly hope for, is that after this alternate universe where Galactus probably destroys their Earth and is why they have to escape or are saved by someone to come to the MCU's version of 616. And when they do, moving forward, we're hoping that Norrin Radd is still the Silver Surfer of the MCU's 616. So, which remains to be seen, and we'll see if that ever comes to fruition or whatnot. All they have to do is talk about it. All they have to do is mention it, talk about Norrin Radd in some way, or in some way reference it, or make it known that he exists in the MCU. And then it will explain fully why this Silver Surfer, this female Silver Surfer, exists. Now, if you want the real story of why Disney decided to go this route, that's a whole nother show. I'm not going to really get into that, but in story-wise, canon-wise, it is what it is. It's she's there to be that version of the Silver Surfer in that crazy, weird universe where, things are very, it's a different place and stuff's different. Just be glad we're not getting the female Galactus. Because that's a thing. That's actually a thing in the comics that a lot of people kind of like.
Interesting.
Yeah, his daughter is actually a real.
Oh yes, that's right. It is his daughter. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, that's correct.
Yeah. So I mean, yeah, it could be worse, guys. Now, Ralph Ineson is playing the voice of Galactus. Well, I guess he's playing the face and probably hands of Galactus too. I mean, he's I'm sure we'll see some form of his face. I hope we do. I hope he looks just like he does in the comics, where you see like part of his face and he's got the mask and the helmet. And I hope that he looks just like that. And I believe he will, because we've seen some merch from the movie and I showed how that looked many, many months ago when we first got there's like a little coin or pin or something that they put out that's commemorative or whatever, and it looks just like comic, accurate Galactus. And of course, we've seen in the trailers that from behind he certainly has his Galactus, headdress and all that stuff, so we can assume. And then of course we know he's played by Ralph Ineson, so we know he's gonna at least be a man. We know that much, for whatever that's worth. And but Ralph Ineson is like a James Earl Jones as far as voice acting goes. Like, he's got a voice that no one else can replicate, and super deep and just super unique. And so I can't wait to see what he does with the character. But as for Silver Surfer, now more as to why she looks so horrendous, why this is so weird and off-putting to so many people. Obviously the CGI, right? And so right off the bat, the first thing I see are teeth, I see lips, and I see eyeliner. If you look at the original Silver Surfer, any iteration, there's none of that. He's completely silver in his mouth, in his eyes, in his ears. There's no facial, nothing. So, and then on top of that, I don't know, the hair, it's whatever. I felt they should have, I don't know, they should have went bald, but I'm not super mad at the hair, because the Shalabal in the comics, she's got hair. So that doesn't,
I don't mind that she has hair. It just
doesn't
looks
ruin it.
awful.
It just looks horrible. It just
Yeah.
looks so bad.
Like it looks like they glued it on her, like she's like a metallic doll, and they glued the hairpiece, and it's not like
Mm,
set. It hasn't set yet. Like it just doesn't. It
right.
just doesn't look appealing at all.
No. Yeah. No. Not at all. I think it was. I think it has to do with, like I said, why it looks so weird is you're not supposed to have a mouth, lips, eyes, all that stuff's not supposed to have different colors. Like she's even has like white eyes in this other picture. Let me see.
Yeah, it's really bizarre. It's similar to when they did Red Hood and Titans, and they
Uh-huh.
did his mask, and he had like human characteristics on the mask. I think they gave him
Right.
like a nose, and it's like, no, like you're not, we don't need all of these human characteristics put on these characters or costume pieces where the point
Mhm.
is it's supposed to be otherworldly or intimidating. So like it looks like that looks really off-putting.
Right.
And I guess they wanted to just hammer it home that this is a woman, but it's like her voice is enough and her
Right.
body shape is enough. So it's like adding the eyeliner and that it even looked like it was like maybe lipstick. It's just like why? Like I don't really understand that at all.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah, it
just
doesn't make any sense. And you know, to your comment about body shape, I wouldn't be too sure because they don't like their women to look like women. If you notice, if you remember what they did to Nebula in the poster, they just want the women to look like rectangles, with no feminine shape at all. She definitely does not have any sort of breast at all. She's no boobage whatsoever. Like if you look at the original fantastic Silver Surfer, female Silver Surfer, this is tasteful. This is what a human, woman looks like. It's not. These aren't implants. She's not Pamela Anderson here. There's nothing obscene about it. It's totally normal. I mean, Norrin Rad's got a 12 pack. He's totally ripped. I mean, why does she have to look like a 13-year-old boy? I don't know. I don't know. But there you go. Silver Surfer is an interesting character design. Now, there's a lot of changes, of course, that we can see that make it look just kind of weird. But there's a lot, that goes into making it look right in live action. And some have not responded positively to this design, of course, and it definitely seems a little bit uncanny. But the metal appearance of her skin, designed to be reflective, it's kind of not quite as reflective, I think, as it should be. It looks weird. It's got a weird, I don't know, surface to it. The way the light actually plays off of her body in the trailer, it's unsettling. And it's a weird design, right? It appears unnatural. It helps to highlight just how alien this character's meant to be perceived. But there's a lot of design similarities with your T-1000 from Terminator 2, Judgment Day, and the design for this new Silver Surfer appears to be intentionally unsettling. The character comes down from the sky. Her appearance is super alien that it makes her first seen that much more disturbing, and with interactions that she controls almost entirely, and the deep pull of distant space at her disposal. And then this new character sort of seems to be very intentionally designed to be part of this bigger, more disturbing cosmos. And that's very wishful thinking. Like I'm hoping that it's intentional for that reason. Like I'm hoping that it's not just for the wrong reasons. Like it that would be the only, I think, thing that I think would save it, is if they're intentionally doing it to make it intentionally look off-putting. That being said, it just doesn't look like intimidating or spooky or eerie. It just looks silly. So they missed the mark if that is their intention, I think. This was just the way to go. There's black lines, but it's his top lip only, like a comic would do for shading. There's
right.
shading around his eye. That's the shadow of the eye socket, right? This is not that. Like, why are both her lips black? That doesn't make sense. That's not shading. But
Yeah,
yeah,
that
this
looks awkward.
hopefully Mighty Rax is right, and yeah, they introduce Nora and Rad in the after credit scenes. I would really hope so. But yeah, I mean, eyeshadow and lipstick. Come on, get out of here. Let's see. The glowing pupils throws it off, but a metallic lady fits the Jetsons theme. I think that Franklin might teleport them away. Yeah, Franklin Richards is another big revelation for this movie that I'm, looking forward to, because he's a really one of my favorite characters, because he's like mega powerful. He can like create universes, and he's just a really cool idea. And so, and I'm not sure if his twin sister Valeria is going to be a twin or what, how they're going to do that, but she's the smartest person in the entire Marvel universe, and he is the most like powerful person in the whole Marvel universe, of course. So that's, you got to remember, Fantastic Four are the very first characters of Marvel. Like, they are the OGs. They are the basis of it all for Stan and Jack. So, but yeah, Matty Rack said it's too hard to improve from Doug Jones as Silver Surfer with the voice of Lawrence Fishburne. I mean, you know, it's hard to beat that. It really is. But listen, they could have done a lot better. I mean, I'd been happier with something like this, to be honest. But I was hoping that Nora and Rad would be there, and that this was just they're advertising that there's going to be a female Silver Surfer to stir up dust and, stir up, controversy on the internet. But Nora and Rad's going to be there.
We'll have to see. Depends on how they want to do this version of the character. So
right. And but yeah, her I think this new CGI, it's the modern CGI. It's not. It's more. It's a little too polished and just a little too. I don't know. It just doesn't. It's too good that they have to like make it look a little more animated. Like, this is just perfect. I don't know why they would deviate. Like, you could have done that with this.
It looks unfinished. I'm hoping maybe
really does.
By the time that the movie comes out, I don't know, maybe that'll be polished. But as it stands, it just looks woefully unfinished.
Yeah.
Her voice is fine. I mean, the metallic thing is fine.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, her hair looks weird. Her face looks very off-putting. So I just don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's hard to say, but all in all, overall, I'm not mad at it like like a lot of people are. I understand this is it's an side universe. It's not part of the main Marvel. So they're not saying and here's the problem with it. This is the only problem with it, let's be honest. Lifelong fans of the character have been waiting to see their character in the MCU, just like all of us have for all of our favorite characters. Like, I still want to see a real MCU Wolverine. We really haven't. Hugh Jackman is not the MCU Wolverine. He's the Fox Wolverine. What if the MCU Wolverine turns out to be X-23? I'm going to be a little bit, I'm going to feel cheated. But the fact that Hugh Jackman was around for, decades and gave us so much Wolverine, I can't complain that there's no live action Wolverine. But if I'm a Silver Surfer fan, there's one movie with a couple scenes, like, that's it. So I'm dying to see him in MCU and really get the full MCU treatment. And this is what I get. I get Shalabao. So that, from that perspective, I can see, being upset about it. Any other reason, though, I really don't agree with. I think any other reason, you're tripping. It's fine. And she's, like I said, it's another universe. So hopefully we'll find out that Nora and Rad is the MCU's version, and maybe Nora and Rad does show up later in the MCU, or maybe even Nora and Rad is mentioned or talked about or even shown in this movie. We don't know. I don't think it's likely. I think they would have calmed everyone down and showed us that by now, but maybe not. Maybe they like the controversy, and of course,
I think they like it because it
Yeah.
creates conversation and they need that
Right.
right now. But I mean, like, yeah, I'm pretty indifferent unless it comes
Mhm.
out that, like, in order for her to be here, they have to get rid of Norn Rad or tarnish
Right.
Norn Rad. Then it's like, well, okay. But I think people are just working off of a lot of things that aren't even confirmed yet. Like, we have her here, but we know nothing of if Norm Rad is here or not. I think once the movie comes out and they say things, and then if it comes out, things about Norm Rad that maybe is not great, then okay, I would
Yeah.
understand the frustration. But as of now, I don't know if there's enough to go on outside of the fact that she just looks horrendous right now.
Yeah.
And just the decision itself to do Shalabal. Like, yeah, I think we could all see it coming from a mile away.
Mhm.
But I don't know. I mean, they have a horrendous track record with female characters, so I don't really think they're going to do her well on her own. So we'll just see. Like, we just have to see. We don't know. So yeah.
Yeah.
Mm,
Yeah.
mm.
I mean, it all remains to be seen, and uh, there's nothing that makes me think that it couldn't work. So I can't wait to see how it all breaks down and what ends up happening, because the movie itself looks great so far. Everything else about it I love so far. And yeah, it's a new version. They're doing like even the Johnny Storm character. He said that the actor said that Johnny Storm was traditionally this sort of devil may care, womanizing kind of cocky guy, but that's not really sexy these days, and so they are changing that about him, is what they said. So
Oh, I just think that goes to, again, them not understanding the character and thinking
right,
that by removing something that's inherently negative,
right,
that okay, now we fix them. When no,
right,
it's called character progression arcs, and
development.
Johnny, he grows from that type of
Yeah.
behavior. And so to remove that, it's like, I don't, do we understand Johnny, or at least just like the basics? They did the
Mhm.
same thing with Sokka in the Avatar show when they removed him being sexist, when that's a huge part of his character and him
Right,
growing from that. So I don't, that doesn't really sound great, but
right.
we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't know. That just doesn't sound great at all. So,
I agree. Yeah, it's a core part of the character, and like you said, that's what he that's and but in the trailer they did keep his sort of cocky attitude. He did kind of throw a little jab at Mr. Fantastic. I mean, he was kind of a dick. So as long as he's a little bit of a dick and a little bit cocky, I'm fine. He doesn't have to necessarily be a womanizer. That doesn't. I don't care. That didn't. I don't really see that in his character anyway. I never really thought of him as like a womanizer per se. I just thought of him as like a kind of like a cocky, jock type dude, at the most. But not a big Fantastic Four reader either, so maybe he did womanize or treat women badly or whatever, but I didn't see that. But yeah, I'm excited for it. I think it could be great. Another thing though that I was excited for that we're gonna not get to see, unfortunately, is Blade, as we know that has been indefinitely put on ice. And
Yes.
yeah. But the former star that was going to Delroy Lindo said the movie or the show, he said it went off the rails, quote unquote, and he's teasing how he now scrapped, teasing his now scrapped role. He said, talking to Entertainment Weekly, he said, when Marvel came to me, they seemed to be really interested in my input. And in various conversations I had with producers, the writer, the director at the time, it was all heading to be very inclusive. It was really exciting conceptually, but it was also exciting in terms of the character and what that was going to form. He said, and then for whatever reason, it just went off the rails. And he declined to reveal his role in the movie. He did say that there was a Marcus Garvey-esque component to who this man was shaping up to be. And he said, I'm not saying that it would have been an out-and-out Garveyite not that, but in terms of how this man's philosophy, his ethos, and what was driving him. He was a character who had, very similar to Sinners, created a community, a black community. He was a character who was the head of this community. And end quote. And this is not the first time that he's missed out on a Marvel role due to creative issues behind the scenes. Lindo was once attached to the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. spinoff, Marvel's Most Wanted, starring Adrian Palicki's Bobby Morse and Nick Blood's Lance Hunter. In that, he'd been tapped to play Dominic Fortune. Now, if you're a Blade fan, though, it's fair to say that the past 6 or so years haven't been the easiest. Mahershala Ali was announced to play Blade at the San Diego Comic-Con in 2019, only for the pandemic to come along and the following year and just sort of put all that shit on hold. And so Blade's been undated now for a while, making recent claims that it's on indefinite hold. Not surprising at all. However, the latest update was a positive one, actually, after we learned that John Wick franchise director Chad Stahelski could be in line to do the reboot. If so, it will be in form of a script by Michael Green and Eric Pearson would be writing the script. So if that happens, the hope is that Blade will be followed by a Midnight Suns movie featuring Blade and other characters like Moon Knight, Werewolf by Night, and Clea. And so we will update you as we get updates on that, as little and far few between as they come. But don't hold your breath for a Blade anything right now.
God, yeah. Hopefully, if they decide to do that, they just save it for after they reboot the whole universe or whatever. I mean, I don't even know. Like, it's been in the works for years. And I feels like maybe whatever the creative differences are, it's just not something that's they can't shake on it. And I think if the actor's under contract, then somehow or another this thing has got to be made. So I mean, I don't know, but
it's called development hell. That's what they call it. Development hell. But I think it has to be made too. Like, I think they've got to do a Blade movie. Like, you have to do this character. It's and it seems like a no-brainer. Like, what's the problem? Like, how hard is that? Like, I don't get how hard it is to do a vampire movie. What I do believe is that they're having creative differences on the other aspects of what they want to do,
right?
The Marcus Garvey stuff and all the whole other side to their narrative outside of just the vampire. Human Torch is awesome because he saves the universe from a nihilist.
Yes, we love Human Torch over here.
Yeah. I would love to see an annihilation way, something annihilation. That would be awesome in Marvel. Marvel is missing by a big time by doing villains correctly. Yeah, they have not.
They've been missing for years. Good gracious. They've been missing for years. Oof.
Yeah, bad. A lot of villains, man. We need.
Yeah,
but we are hearing maybe that because a lot of people are like, what's going on? You got Spider-Man, what's going on live action wise for Marvel, for Miles Morales? And maybe there's an MCU debut coming. There's a new rumor that suggests that Sony is bringing Miles Morales into live action following Secret Wars. And it's become a running joke in the Marvel fandom that Sony is suffering from Charlie Brown disease, right? In an attempt to make their own superhero universe to rival the MCU, the studio keeps lining themselves up to kick the blockbuster football with their, villain universe, only for it to be yanked away at the last minute by when their movie bombs. And it's led to a lot of people wondering, why Sony hasn't just made their own franchise with any of the literally infinite Spider-Man variants that they own. And luckily, it seems that they're finally doing just that. And with a character that they are confident in, right? And I think that was what was holding them back. So there's all these other Spider-Men. You've got Ben Reilly and all these other characters that they could have technically made a whole universe about. They did the whole Spider-Verse thing, and they've got all these Spider-Verse characters. These are a bunch of characters you can do in live action. Heroes to go with your villains. Novel idea there, Sony. So get with it, man. But no, Miles Morales, that's a ready-made, like they know it's popular. They know that this character can already, bring in the money. And so the studio, learning their lesson by putting a Miles Morales live action project into production would be the rumor. And with this set to hit theaters after the MCU finishes the multiverse saga. So this would be in the next phase. And so, they said reasons why is Miles Morales, according to information I currently have, so please take with a grain of salt, is going to be set in a rebooted Sony universe that's set to be established after Secret Wars. And I hope that it's something established by Secret Wars. I hope it's connected, but we'll see. A lot of people will question, why Sony would bring Miles into live action only after the massive crossover event many assumed would bring him into the MCU. Putting aside outside mismanagement, there's a lot of theories behind the madness. Given Avengers Secret Wars is set to be like heavily inspired by the original comics and also the 2015 comic, in conjunction. So it's possible that the franchise is preparing for a second Secret Wars-ish in the next decade, another big thing. So Tom Holland obviously is set to do another trilogy as Spider-Man in the MCU. So it wouldn't make sense to really have both Peter Parker and Miles active at the same time. And that always causes, then you've got the whole shenanigans of the multiverse and all that going on again. So especially if Marvel and Sony want to maximize their time without a reboot, giving Miles the chance to build his own live action brand separate from Holland's take on the character may be the best shot that the studios have at living up to the legacy set by the character for some live action. But Secret Wars coming out in May 2027. It's quite a ways away. So, all speculation now.
I don't want to see anything until we finish the trilogy for Across the Spider-Verse. Then we can talk about Miles in live action.
Yeah.
But that movie's not coming out till like 2027. So it's
right.
a bit of a ways away. But yeah, I think what they may do, like I wouldn't be surprised if they had the character Miles just like a part of the later Spider-Man films, maybe similar to how they did it in the games, where him and Peter meet under maybe strenuous circumstances, and then like he's just like around, like maybe through like Feast or whatever, and then it just kind of goes from there, and then he just goes off on his own. I don't know if they'll do it similar to that, but I feel like if they wanted to maybe maximize, they could do it like that and introduce him beforehand, but I don't know. It depends.
Yeah. It we'll see. I mean, you have to finish the animated trilogy, and by the time they do 2027 and then Secret Wars ends 2027, then that's when they're talking about doing the live action Miles. So it'd be after all that. But another new some more news about some characters that may be getting back to live action. Iron Fist is one that really got a bad shake in the Netflix version. He really did not get a nice series that that really held up to the other series, I feel.
Not at all.
Not at all. I watched it, and I mean, I dug it. It wasn't the worst thing in the world. I was able to be into it. I really missed Iron Fist's costume and the whole thing. I mean, there was so much wrong with it that you can't even. You have to kind of look at it as like just a show by itself and kind of forget about Marvel for a minute. But that just sucks. But yeah. So Finn Jones, who did Iron Fist in the Netflix era, portrayed Danny Rand in both seasons of the solo series from 2017 to 18. In between, he reprised his Danny Rand for the team up event, the Defenders show, where they all, Luke Cage and Jessica Jones and Daredevil all got together. So Charlie Cox and several other stars from Netflix, series have had their grand return coming back. We were looking at maybe some Luke Cage and Jessica Jones coming back and all that good stuff, and including Iron Fist. So Scartapane, Dario Scartapane, the producer, he said those heroes are always in his mind. He said, without giving too much away, when you're working in what I would call the Hell's Kitchen corner of the MCU, those iconic characters are always in your mind. The thing is that, and this is kind of hard, I'm trying to thread a needle here. So you want to bring people and relationships and past figures in Matt's life because they help the story. He referenced the events of Born Again season finale, season 1 finale. And he said the caper left things on a grim note with Major Wilson Fisk violently seizing control of the city through martial law. And Matt Murdock planned his next, attack in response, refusing to turn over the city to his enemy. And he said, particularly in the terms of where Fisk has taken over the city and there is resistance and a rebellion, so to speak, rising, there's going to be people, vigilantes, superheroes that are involved in that. And one of Matt's final lines of dialogue in the season 1 mentioned a need for an army in order to take the city back, right? So that's talking about the Defenders and building that team. And so audiences might witness Iron Fist take on the Kingpin, but the producer cautioned that Danny or anyone else's Born Again return would need to come by way of an organic story, right? So he said that there has to be this organic story because this is happening to their city. He said you also want to create a completely organic thing that so who comes in and why so who comes in and why has to be beyond anything earned. So the easiest answer to your question is yes, those characters that you just lifted off are absolutely in my head, and everybody's listed off. Sorry, there's typos here. Absolutely in my head and everybody's head as we're working. How that manifests itself, both really tricky and tricky writing wise, and a pretty closely guarded secret at this point. So I'm being intelligently cagey and intentionally cagey, but I'm also saying hell yeah in terms of it's something we're thinking about. So without saying anything, yes, they are thinking about bringing all these characters back.
I would hope so. I mean, based on what you just described, how the season ended. I mean, it would be strange if like we didn't have a heroes for hire moment or the defenders moment. Like that would just be that'd be a little odd. And there's so many heroes live in New York City, so I don't know.
Yep. Well, some really shitty news regarding the Batman 2.
Oh boy. It can't catch a break.
Not at all. Rumors of all out cancellation. And here's what the Warner Brothers execs are saying. And there's more movies being made every year, and more being made every year than the year prior. And so, with so much to offer, the landscape at the box office has changed inevitably. And so oftentimes now movies seem to favor some movies that promise to be fan favorites only to find them flopping. And so the movie studios are doing everything they can to ensure that they don't produce movies that suffer that fate. And so one of these non-produced movies might be the Batman 2 that they feel for some fucking reason that for whatever reason it wouldn't work. And I don't get it, but
I don't believe that at all.
I think it's more to do with, it's more to do with them, with Gunn not wanting to muddle with his DCU Batman. That's
so silly because he knew that going into it though. Like that's very silly.
It is, and it's such a different iteration of the character that it's almost a completely different character. Like it's such a different movie. There's no reason. But we also have the issue of Matt Reeves' health issues, which we don't really know what those are yet, but apparently they're very serious. If it's not him, it's a very close relative. He's been very vague about it. It's a private matter, but it's serious. Like people are like saying that it's really serious. So that may be the thing too. But the news of the cancellation is not based off any official information given out by any official source. anonymous or public, but they came after news broke that Robert Pattinson would be joining Denis Villeneuve's Dune 3. So after the announcement that he's doing Dune 3, people are speculating online that he can't, Batman 2 must have been quietly, put on the shelf by Warner Brothers. And rumors gained traction, of course, due to, the ongoing delays with the script and all that. So, Matt Reeves and the writer, Mattson Tomlin, were expected to finish that script by the end of the year. They haven't, no finalized screenplay in sight. So doubts about the future of the movie are growing. And so there's been a recent interview with Deadline, Warner Brothers Pictures co-CEO Mike DeLuca, and Pam Abdi clarified the situation. They said that the studio does not exercise significant control over the Batman 2 or other DC projects, implying that development remains largely in the hands of the filmmakers and is still moving forward. According to Pam Abdi, she said, "We're not in the weeds on Batman stuff. It's just really James and Peter Safran who run DC." And these comments, may have spurred uncertainty. I think they didn't really clarify shit, but fans of the franchise, took it as good news, and it still allowed them to dream and hope, knowing that they could get this Batman 2 movie. So having said that, though, a lot of people are not happy as they feel the company is choosing not to prioritize that movie. And that is, their fault. It's their fault that this, new version, or this sequel might not happen. Rather, so. But the executives,
really oh, I'm sorry, keep going.
No, I was just gonna say, if that the executives don't agree with that, they feel like the film is still in the works and that everything is fine.
I
That's
would
what
hope so. If that sequel actually didn't happen, I mean, WB, they're just straight up morons. I mean, they're not like
yeah.
financially, they're just not like in a great position. And Batman is a seller. That movie has to get made. Like it's established. There's fans behind it. So I feel like to not continue with that story, it's just very much a foolish decision. But then it's also like it's
Very.
been maybe when did that movie come out? 2021? It's been like,
Yeah.
oh man. So it's been now 4
Long
years
time.
and it's
Yeah.
gonna go on maybe probably 6, 7 years before we get a sequel, which is just utterly ridiculous. So that's working against it as well.
Right.
So I don't know. There's just a lot working against this, but I really hope that they somehow try to go through with it and don't put it on hold for James Gunn's thing. We don't even know what that's gonna look like. So, we have
Yeah.
no idea what his Batman's supposed to look like. So why would
Right.
that be put on hold for what is established? So I don't
Yeah.
know.
Doesn't make any sense. It was 2022, but yeah, it's still a long damn time.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
That's still a ridiculous amount of time, but yeah. But the executives that, in the interview, they're saying that everything looks good, being in good spirits, as they know that Matt Reeves will take his time to produce the best script and the movie that he possibly can. According to Pam Abdi, she said, "We have a bit of other collaboration with Matt Reeves, but Peter and James know he is a writer directing our tour in his own right, and that will come, and that it will come when he's written the best Batman script and is ready." So they're not pressed. They're not, worried about this time gap. And they say, to be fair, a 5-year gap or more is fairly common in sequels. They said 7 years between Alien and Aliens, 14 years between Incredibles animated, 7 years between the first 2 Terminators. That was 13 years between Avatars, 36 years between Top Guns. Come on, that's a reboot. Come on, guys.
Yeah,
And of course,
some of these are like non-equivocals, like very much non-equivocals.
6 years between Guardians Volumes 2 and 3, but you had a bunch of other Marvel shit coming in, so that's why that was not a problem, because they were, so yeah, these are not really equivocals. To be fair, this is not, but this is one of those. None of them are really equivocals to each other either. There's always some weird reason why it goes this far, but what they're illustrating is that it can and has gone this far before. This does not, basically what they're saying is this doesn't mean it's canceled by this gap. Doesn't mean it's canceled because we've seen gaps like this before, which is true. But I'm gonna hold out hope because man, I love that first movie and I would love to see the sequel, and I wanted to see that thing as bad as I do want to see the DCU Batman, and I really want to see that because I'm really hoping to get like a Grant Morrison version of Batman and Damian Wayne, and maybe even the blue and gray suit. That would be really cool. So I think we'll at least get the gray and black suit. It'll at least be that. But yeah, speaking of Grant Morrison, by the way, real quick before we wrap it up, Grant Morrison is doing new DC Batman project. So really cool news. Yeah, Grant Morrison is one of the better authors. I'm not even gonna call him a comic writer. Dude is actually an author. He writes shit. Very, very well written stuff. You want comics that are gonna pull you in and just be a real like story. Yeah, Grant Morrison's one of the better ones. And he's back. He's doing a new Batman joint on the podcast. He said, I don't need to do these things anymore. I only do it if it's something interesting. It's not Superman, but it's a Batman thing. And so that's what he said. And so no other details are revealed. Of course, it's exciting to know that Morrison will be returning to Batman, though. Morrison's contribution to Batman is up there with the greats, like I said, particularly due to the co-creation of Damian Wayne, who will play a big part in the James Gunn movies universe. Grant Morrison's run on Batman redefined Batman for that new era. It was very his stuff is very surreal. He's got a surrealist aspect. Stuff's weird, deep, but it gave a very deep continuity, bold reinvention, and he's done Batman and Robin. He did Batman Incorporated, and he expanded the mythos while with Black Glove and Dr. Hurt, and reframed Batman as not just a brooding loner, but as an enduring idea, an unstoppable force shaped by every trauma and challenge and iteration across the decades. And so their storytelling wove in Silver Age weirdness, meta commentary, global stakes, ultimately positioning Batman as a sort of mythic figure capable of being immortal, almost surviving death, and not just being just that weird vigilante at night. No, it was more, he's like the symbol, right? He was the Batman. It was a big deal. So I really like what he did with that. And yeah, I would like to see what he does. So yeah, that's really cool. That's happening.
Very exciting.
Yeah, Morrison is back. We have a date announced for Peacemaker 2 real quick as well. Peacemaker 2 is gonna drop on August 25th.
Oh, of this year?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
Yeah. Hang on. Oh, my bad. I thought there was a new thing. But yeah, that's happening. And what else? That's pretty much it for tonight, guys. We'll see you guys in a few days, of course, every Saturday and every Wednesday at 6:30 or 7 p.m. We go live, and stay tuned for more unboxing videos. Check out my video section. You hit the channel. It's got the live tab and the videos tab. Switch over to the videos tab. Give me some views on those unboxing videos. We want to try and build that section of the channel up and put some money back into my system here. But real quick, I did chrome out that Batman that I unboxed and reviewed yesterday. So you can see that real quick. He's got the chrome accents now.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah. Hold on, let me get it to focus. There you go.
Oh, look at that. Dope. Yes. Very dope. Sheesh, he's packing. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, man. Yeah, he came in the 2-pack with the Croc. Killer Croc.
Very nice.
Yeah. This thing's huge. But yeah, man. That's our show, guys. Have a great night. Have a good rest of your weekend, and we will see you guys Wednesday. And y'all know what it is. And we'll see you then. Peace.